Welcome to a new edition of UMFST International. My name is Larissa, and today we will get an authentic insight into the genuine experience of an international student. Through the narrative of my special guest, we will understand better the thrill of moving to another country, being on your own, and the process of building an academic profile, along undoubtedly with all the ups and downs. Therefore, we are enthusiastic to have here with us Strobel Teresa Maria, sixth-year medical student, and for having a truthful perspective from behind the scenes of this intriguing life. Hello, Teresa.
Hello.
I'm so glad that you accepted my invitation and wanted to share your journey so far.
Thank you very much for inviting me. I feel honored.
To begin with, education is accessible nowadays in a unique way that allows us flexibility. So, without any other addition, I would like to ask you, what inspired you to pursue medicine in Romania?
So, medicine, first of all, I come from a household where medicine always was a topic. My father is a doctor, my mother was working for a medical company, and so this was always a present topic. And for me, there was basically no big question if I want to do it or not. I always felt drawn to it naturally. And so the question was, where can I start and how and when? So after I did my A-levels in Germany, that's where I was born and raised, I was looking around because in Germany it's not that easy to get to your studies if you don't have a certain average from your A-level grade. So I was also taking a little bit of time off, working in the emergency services and doing, first of all, 1 year of voluntary work, and then I was working there a little bit longer. And I was open to the idea of studying abroad. So I was looking into different countries, and since I'm half German, half Romanian, Romania seemed to be a very good option for me to start studying here, since I also was spending my summers here during childhood. So yes, speaking the language helped me a lot to maybe get started here.
Can you share with us what was the biggest cultural difference or adjustment that you had to make when you started studying here in Târgu Mureș?
I think the biggest difference that was for me that it was the first time living on my own. And then it starts with even the groceries that are simply different than you have maybe in Germany. So even if you have one dish that you cook in Germany, it's going to taste differently than it tastes here. Just simply because everything is different. The way people carry themselves or talk, or the mentality or approach to different maybe problems, or also how they view life and what you should do in your life.
Yes. And how did you feel during those days when you met your colleagues, and how was the dynamic of this scholarly life?
It is very scholarly in comparison to studies in Germany, for example. But I think it was very nice since we're all international students, we all are not at home, or most of us are not at home. And with that, it's very easy to get into contact with people that, of course, also look for people to be with, since, yes, we don't have family with us, or most of us don't have family here. So, yes.
And how did you overcome the language barrier?
Since most of us have an international background, our conversations just start in English. And of course, in the beginning, in first year, maybe not all our Englishes are the best ones, but with time, you get used to it, reading all the material and also talking to people. So that was a big thing. And when I came here, I already spoke Romanian. So in this regards, it was easy for me in the day-to-day interactions to get along.
Okay. And now I want to go a little bit deeper. And I want to bring up something that is very dear to you. From what I understood, you are passionate about music.
Yes.
And I want to ask you, what motivated you to be part of a university orchestra, and what instrument are you playing?
So I'm playing the violin, and the orchestra didn't exist until I was in my third year of studies. And when I was in my third year of studies, we also just came out of the COVID pandemic, and I think that left marks on all of us. And I have to say that I was missing music very, very much. I had my violin here, but I didn't have anywhere to go, because also living in the building complexes and apartments, everybody hears everything, and I just didn't feel that comfortable to play along there. So when I found the orchestra playing for a congress, I just simply texted them and asked if they are still looking for somebody, and luckily they did. And that's how I got started in the orchestra, and I'm very proud and happy to say that I'm there since the beginning.
Yes, and how long have you been playing violin?
I'm playing the violin since, I think it's almost 18 years now. Music always was a big part of my life. Before that, I learned the piano, but the violin, always my heart went there. Yeah.
So you're very artistic oriented.
Yes, I like not only music, I also like drawing, but music is my passion.
So this is really wonderful. You as a medical student, moreover the busiest one, if I can say that, you still have time for hobbies. Can you share with us how did you succeed in managing your time so well?
This was a process. I think when you start studying in the first year of your studies, the biggest thing is, if you didn't do any studies before, to learn how to organize yourself and your time. And I think, for me at least, consistency was the biggest part. So if you split your time wisely, everything can be done.
And now I want to ponder upon what you have already told us. And I want to know if we can demolish a myth. Over the year, medicine was promoted as being such a rigid and daunting major. Can we say that there is more than lectures for medical students?
Yes, so of course medicine is a very intensive study, and you need to invest a lot of time and maybe also a lot of yourself. But it is also very important to maybe have something else outside of medicine, because we're not just medical students and future doctors, but we're still our own person, and we should not give up ourselves. And of course, you can find time for music, but also for sports, and the university is also offering facilities, or for example, the orchestra that I'm a part of. And if you like, for example, also kind of politics, I'm, for example, also in the University Senate and in the English Faculty Council. And I'm also the representative of my year, so I also have a little bit of organizational stuff to do and to manage and to handle. But so you can see, you can find the time if you want to.
When you think about the next module in Romania, what do you find interesting, or what are you eager to come back to it?
So my next module will be my last module here. So I think I will try to make the most out of it, not only spending the last few months or weeks with my colleagues that I don't know when I will see them, because everybody's going to go back into a different country or their home country. So social engagements will be the one part, but also preparing for, of course, the final exams and the thesis and graduation. This will be also a part, and of course the studies.
Yes, all these preparations.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that your cultural background influenced your approach to medicine or patient care?
I think it does, and I think that since we have such an international background from all our colleagues, everybody had a different upbringing, and all of this together somehow makes you aware of problems that you maybe never had or never considered. And with that, I think that is very useful in approaching a patient from different cultures. So you have a different understanding and maybe also a wider horizon to handle them.
Yes, to engage with them, and maybe the empathy.
Mm-hmm.
How does the healthcare system in your country differ from the one you're currently studying in?
So I'm not an expert on the healthcare or study system, but What I would say is, for example, that here are way more private clinics than we have in Germany, and way more pharmacies.
That's interesting.
Yes, I think that's one of the biggest parts.
All right. Do you think that the Medical Act can be improved due to the presence of international personnel? Having like mixed personnel in a future society with such a diversity. This can be a plus, a minus.
I think this can be helpful, since you just learn what different cultures exist and how different people act differently, and this helps having an understanding of the person in front of you. So I think it will be helpful to add a little bit of diversity.
Yes. Considering that you're almost finished with your studies, what plans do you have for your future career?
So after my studies directly, I will take a little bit of time off, because for the next 40 to 50 years, I will probably not have such a huge time interval again, and I will travel a little bit. But I will also use the time to do some internships to see where my future workplace might be, to see how the teams are and how everything goes, and to decide that, yes.
Yes, so maybe it's like a gap year.
Yes, not a year probably, but a few months.
All right, all right. For the aspirant teenagers who want to become students at UMFST, what message or advice can you share with them?
I would say that you should think if you want to become a doctor and what your motivations are, and maybe write them down on a piece of paper in the beginning of your studies. So whenever you're struggling or thinking or doubting yourself, you can always see why you began your studies in the first place. And that's what I would advise, to really think through if you're open to put in the work and the dedication, because that's what you will need, work and dedication to finalize these studies and make the most out of it from all points of view. So study-wise, but also in social engagements and whatever fulfills you next to your studies, because of course we're going to become doctors, but we're humans and people as well. So that's something we should not forget.
Yes, certainly. Do you have any specialty in mind?
I want to become a family doctor, and I like also emergency medicine. So I will probably start in internal medicine and then see how my way goes.
Wonderful, but they are so different. How did you manage to like them both?
I like family medicine a lot because you have a close contact to your patients, and that's something that I really enjoy. But besides this more quiet day-to-day life, I also like the, let's say, action and to know how to handle and manage difficult situations, because sometimes that's exactly what scares you. And it might be very helpful to know how to handle these situations so that they are not that scary anymore. And that's something I like. And since I worked also in the emergency services before my studies, that's something I feel drawn to.
Teresa, with that, we come to the end of today's edition, but I want to thank for your time and willingness to be open about your experience here.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
In addition, I want to highlight the beauty of students' courage, how diversity creates a richer society for all of us, and last but not least, the importance of perseverance. Thank you all for your attention and have a delightful evening.